So, out of the box, we have the Tamashii Nation's World Tour exclusive Super Saiyan Goku.
Allied to good! Nightmare in your wallet.
To the tip of his hair, he stands about just a little under 7 inches. I would say 6 3/4 inches. Size comparisons. Now for the meat and potatoes of the show. The aesthetic comparison between Warrior Awakening Goku and, of course, the Tamashii Nation's World Tour exclusive Super Saiyan Goku. Now overall, the Warrior Awakening Goku has a much more darker look to the gi, which is more representative of the anime look, and the World Tour exclusive has the lighter colors of the manga. Now, with that being said, what the Warrior Awakening Goku has definitively over the World Tour exclusive is that he has a whole lot more shading. Now, starting from the head, he has a whole bunch of shading, but before we even get into that, I never liked this hair sculpt, even from the 1.0 look. From the 1.0 Super Saiyan Goku that they first dropped with this hair, I never liked it. And speaking of that, why are we still using our 1.0 hair sculpt? Either way, I digress. The shading is pretty intense in the crevices of the bangs of the Warrior Awakening Goku, but that's fine. And the shading on the rest of the hair, I think, is placed a lot more strategically, a bit better. Not so in your face like by the bangs, but like I said, I'd rather shading than no shading. As far as the rest of the body, with his muscles, definitely the shading on his muscles is a lot more subtle, but it's still noticeable. And even on a dated sculpt like this, the shading goes a long way, which is why I always ask for it on the figures, because the sculpts have gotten better over time now that we're in the 3.0 era. And I can only imagine what the shading will do to a figure that has a better sculpt. Now, one thing I will say is that this is definitely a figure, the Warrior Awakening version of Goku is definitely a figure you'd be proud to display on your shelf. This has a whole bunch of shelf appeal. The overall aesthetic is very nice. Now, for the shading on the pants, the shading is mostly where the orange is torn and whatnot. It's not a whole lot of shading on the blue, but that's fine. They make up for it with a little bit of shading, subtle shade, darker orange on the pants. As for the World Tour exclusive version of Goku, starting with the hair, they said ditch the shading, add the pearlescence, and I can't lie, the gold look does look pretty cool. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. I think a lot of you guys might too. But with that being said, with the torso, once again they said ditch the shading, add the scuffs. And speaking of those scuffs, with these battle damaged figures, the scuffs are like, that's kiddie stuff. This is not Dragon Ball Kai. We want the raw and uncut. They could add blood to figures. We've seen it with the Chainsaw Man figures. So while the scuffs are cute and it's nice or whatever, what we want to see is like the little bit of spots of blood and bruises on the figure. This is how he was in the anime. This is not Dragon Ball Kai, this is Dragon Ball Z. And last but not least, on the World Tour exclusive Goku, he does have shading, but instead of getting darker towards the edges of the ripped pants and orange part of the gi, it gets a little bit lighter. And I think it's a nice gradient. It's a nice transition from the regular orange to the much more yellow orange. But with that being said, let's move on to accessories. Okay, so for accessories, starting off with the hands, both Gokus have the same exact hands, so on the screen we'll just have the World Tour exclusive Goku. So the hands that he comes with: fist hands, open palm hands, grabby hands, eye gouging hands, aka martial arts pose hands, and another set of grabby hands which look like the regular grabby hands but are not actually the grabby hands. They're supposed to be representing the pose, the hands in this picture. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But with that being said, same exact hands basically. Nothing special. This is pretty standard by S.H.Figuarts standards. But moving forward, for the face plates, they are the same exact face plates, yet they're pretty different. Now, what I mean by that is this. So for this neutral, kind of angry expression, one says, "I'm Goku and I'm angry," and the other says, "Yo, word to my dead homie Krillin, Frieza. If you say one more word to me, I'm gonna knock your teeth out your mouth. Stop playing with me." That is to say that one expression has a lot more expression than the other expression. It's amazing what some added lines to the frown or emphasis on the frown could do for a figure or a face. For the screaming faces, one is screaming, and the other one says, "Ah, I need to eat more greens." And the same story could be said for the gritting teeth face. One is like, "I'm angry," and one is like, "Don't say nothing to me." Once again, besides the scuff marks and the more, I guess, expressive printing on the faces, which comes from the lines and the wrinkles and the frown on the face being more highlighted, makes for the faceplates being, I think, pretty decently better than the original release. But with that being said, let's move on to the last accessory. Last but not least, we have a Super Saiyan aura effect that we've seen for the millionth time. Yay! No! This is not even the good Super Saiyan aura effect that they put with the Super Saiyan 2 Goku. Like, I'm kind of over this Super Saiyan aura effect. Like, did this really, like, to think that this, I'm pretty sure is probably what made this figure over $70. This, I guess, the sheer amount of plastic that you're getting, but this is whatever to me. It's an extra thing that you have that didn't come with the original release, but that's how I feel about it.
Alright people, so we're gonna look at some footage from Dragon Ball Z real quick, and basically what I'm playing this footage for is so to point out some accessories I wish Goku had come with. First, that's the first one, angry Kamehameha kind of blast effect. That would have been really cool. Wait a second, wait for it. Yo, this face, man. Get me every time. If they ever do a full power Frieza, he has to come with that face. That's a face that you make when you are struggling on the toilet. But I digress. Let's move forward. And that face right there. Like, damn, that's what your bitch ass get. Trying to sneak me after giving you some energy. Shame, shame, shame. But in the manga, this face, Toriyama drew it a bit sadder. And it's more like a, man, why'd you gotta do that? Like, how could you? Like, even down to the very end, hot into the core. Like, he was just disappointed. Then he flew off and was like, I'm out. But those are the two things I wish this, well, not the Frieza thing don't count. But this sad face and like a blast effect, ooh, that'd have been sweet. But what are you gonna do? Let's move on to the next segment.
Okay, so are these figures worth getting? They're definitely good figures, but not worth the price of secondary market. So, with that being said, let's get into the ratings. So, I'm gonna make it easy for you for the World Tour exclusive. 8s all across the board for the World Tour exclusive. 8 in aesthetic, 8 in articulation, 8 in accessories. As for the Warrior Awakening version, 8.5 in aesthetic, because that shading does take him to a next level. But the sculpt is kind of dated, so that's why he's only 8.5. Articulation, 8, same articulation. An accessory, 7.5. It doesn't come with the aura effect. But at the same time, I wouldn't say that, for example, this World Tour exclusive Goku, the only reason why it costs so much money at this point is because they gave you that big hunk of plastic and the aura effect, and also it's an exclusive, so it's a limited edition thing. If you can find it for, like, honestly, none of the prices are worth it. Even the what you call it, the retail price is not worth it for the event exclusive. However, that would have been the cheapest price that you could get this style of Goku with the half torn shirt. So you just gotta, if you really want this figure, I think it's up to preference, because I was thinking that this event exclusive would make the original one cheaper, but it actually doesn't. They cost about the same price. So if you were thinking about spending a lot of money on the original version, then just get the original version. They both cost the same price, and this one just came out. So, and also I saw a listing on Big Bad Toy Store, but they they sold out pretty fast. So if I was y'all, I'd just keep an eye on Big Bad Toy Store. Ironically, they have the cheapest prices in terms of secondary market. Just keep your eyes peeled, check there periodically, because you never know, people will cancel their pre-orders. That means there's a figure available for you now. So with all that being said, this has been Bombastic Plastic. Thank you for the support. Stay fantastic.